Hello, I'm Laura Cornish, and I'm here joined today by Louis Wattam, the MD of Ivanhoe in the DRC. We're here at DRC Mining Week. Louis, thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
Louis, you have some interesting views on where the DRC is going to be positioned in the future with regards to copper, especially in relation to other regions like Chile and Peru. Can you give me your views on that?
Yes, indeed. The talk of the town today is cobalt. However, I feel people miss a very important point about copper. If you look at the major producers of copper today, Chile and Peru, let's take Chile. The declining grades, the aging mines, all these point to Chile losing the leadership in producing copper in the years to come. Chile has recently put into production a number of mines, big mines, and therefore there's nothing left in the pipeline for the next 10, 15 years, 20 years to come, coming from Chile, from Peru. But on the other hand, you look at the need for copper, and it's not just the reflationist policies of Donald Trump in the US, but it's also Europe that realizes that the infrastructure has gone very old. They have a 300 billion funds today, in which they've already voted to spend already over 100 billion euros to refurbish the infrastructure in Europe. Same in Japan, they over 60 million US dollars to refurbish the infrastructure. All this means one thing. It's not just electrical cars, batteries, but it's also the reflationist policies around the world that's gonna require more and more copper. Now, where will that copper come from? The new frontier is DRC. DRC has demonstrated that in less than 10 years, they can shoot from 20,000 tons to 1 million tons. So what comes next to play to the next big league? The 3 million tons, the 5 million tons, and so forth. So the future is bright, and DRC will take a much more leadership position when it comes to copper in the many years to come.
So Louis, obviously based on that, you have big visions and big dreams for Ivanhoe in the DRC. What's the latest developments at your big Kamoa-Kakula project?
Very exciting. We have, remember, in our concession, we've only explored 50% of it, and we're sitting today over 1 billion tons of ore, of high-grade ore in our concession. The mineralization remains open on both ends, so there's still room to find even more. So this is very exciting. The sinking of the declines is going very well. In fact, we are really on target to reach the ore in Kakula in the last quarter of this year. We are pushing our studies. We got a lot of progress on the energy side as well. You cannot run a big project like this without enough energy. And also a very big achievement that we should not underestimate is we just reached 10 million hours without a lost time injury.
This is amazing.
This is a massive achievement. And that doesn't happen just by chance. That means the behavior-based safety culture we put on site is now paying dividends. We are not going to become complacent. It's a daily reminder that we need to stay alert and make sure that everyone is in charge of his own safety and the safety of his teammates when they're at the workplace.
So Louis, when can we expect to see the first production from Kamoa-Kakula?
We really want to look at around the end of 20 or 2021, around this area, this time. We will get the more definitive dates as we finalize our studies.
So I think the big topic at DRC Mining Week is the mining code. Louis, share your views with me on how you feel about the new mining code that's been implemented.
After the debate is over. No, you've all heard that the 7 big mining companies have left the Chamber of Mines. One, because they didn't feel, and I'm part of it, we didn't feel properly represented, or at least our interest in that whole debate. And secondly, we felt the debate actually didn't really take place, and a lot of decisions were made unilaterally instead of consulting all stakeholders. And therefore we have this impasse. And the impasse is really about, on one hand, a host government which has legitimate needs, short and medium term for his country, which is very legitimate, don't disagree with. And on the other hand, the nature of mining investments, which is heavy, which is in long term, and which requires a lot of assurance and guarantees and stability for it to work well. And there's an impasse of understanding in between that we need to bridge that we need to reduce this impasse. I remain very optimistic that the dialogue will pay dividends ultimately. Yes, the code has been promulgated, is effective now, but the two parties are still willing to talk, and they will still talk. And I have no doubt, just like we've seen in South Africa, we will end up finding a happy ending to this whole misunderstanding.
So the way forward is positive ultimately, and Ivanhoe remains committed to the DRC.
More than ever, absolutely. You just heard of the deal. We got $600 million a few days ago. That tells how confident we are in developing our mines. And I've always said to all investors, making a decision to come invest in DRC is a binary decision. You either in or you're not. You do your homework, and once you're in for the long haul, and you give it your very best shot. And the returns are massive for those who are prepared to play the game in the long term in DRC.
Excellent, Louis. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to watching what happens at Kamoa.
Absolutely. Watch this space.
We will be. Thanks, Louis.
Thank you.